Hey YouTube, we're heading out to the greenhouse to get started on some early vegetables. I thought I would share with you what I'm planting and how I do this. Let's head out to the greenhouse. Okay. You are in the greenhouse with me. We're gonna get started on some April plants to get going early in the greenhouse. This is only the second time I've used this greenhouse. We've had it for, I wanna say 3 or 4 years. It's cold. I'm gonna shut the door, kind of sort out some things here, and we'll jump in and I'll show you what we're doing. First, I'll show you a little bit of what I'm doing here. This is how I left this last fall. So I stored everything up high because in the winter, genius hack, we turned this into a doghouse for a very, very large dog, just to have a place to get out of the weather because he doesn't have a doghouse and he wouldn't use one if we made one. So we put a bale of straw in here, and I was trying to think, where can he go to get out of the rain and just some of the wind if he wants to? Hello, greenhouse not being used in the winter. Write that down. So everything's up high. So what I have from last year, I have these big trays, and this is where I stored all of my seed pots from last year. And I'm really, I recycle stuff, so I reuse it until it can't be used again ever. Like until it's just destroyed, I'll reuse it. So I have these, which are pretty cool because if you have the square, if you have these kind of, that one needs like, again, I use these. Like I don't get too picky. I'm not, you know, do whatever works for you. This has never hurt us to use a pot that looks like that. So you don't need to go buy new pots every year. Save your pots. And they fit right in here. So I'll be able to do that. And then another hack, use a very old cookie sheet, or like what I have over here you can't see is a really old bent up mangled cake pan that's big, and it'll hold these. Because some of these I don't want the water dripping down at first. I don't want the water draining out of these. I want to have something like that with a solid bottom to hold the water just while they're germinating. Once they get bigger, I don't care so much if the water drains out from the bottom. We don't need them, you know, sitting in water and getting soggy. And I forgot 2 things up at the house, so I'm gonna go get those. And then I'll show you another cool trick I have for this. I'll show you the vent that I put in the roof myself. Kind of weird, but it works. I put a weather temperature change. It's like a little hydraulic arm, I'll show you, but it opens and closes the little vent on the top of my roof in this very basic greenhouse, just based on what the temperature is inside on that little pump. And it was just a cheap arm that I bought, and I just cut a hole in this tin with a box cutter and kind of went at it that way. Okay, so here I'm gonna just show you my setup, and imagine it without the straw. We haven't taken the straw out. There's a plywood floor underneath all of that. But this is, I want to say it's 8 by 8. So not a ton of space, but it worked really well for me the first year I tried it, which was last year. I've only used this once before. And we have right here, there's a white bench and there's another bench in the garden shed. So right here I usually have a couple of benches, which turn out to be handy for just putting things on or sitting on. So I have racks, which I got again on Amazon. They work great. They're 3 shelves. You can see there's a bottom rack down below, which is great for putting bigger pots and bigger bags of potting soil, and then you can space the shelves as far apart as you want. So I measured them to be kind of where I want. And it's just all clear, really basic, but it didn't have any ventilation except for these 4. They have boards over them for the winter right now, but they open up to just be a vent. So it turns out to be more like a cold frame because there's no way to keep the heat in at night when it's cold in the early spring. It's pretty cold in here. But in the summer or in the late spring when it gets really warm in here, there was nothing to vent the heat out as much. So I built this, check it out. It's like, seriously, like heavy duty marine tape. I put a couple of little board edges as like a rain flap. And I just cut that with a box cutter. Got up on a ladder, cut a hole, and installed this very cool arm that is weather. It's controlled by the weather and the temperature. So you don't have to do anything with it. As the temperature in here rises, that arm will open up and it pushes that vent open to let the air out. And as it cools, the little arm just slowly cools down and collapses back down to flat. I will admit that I get some leakage from my not so spiffy cutting and taping job. So that is an issue, but at least it lets the hot air out and it works for me. So moving on, let's dive into what we're planting. And this is kind of where I usually work, is at this spot. I got my spray bottle, thermometer. I love this. Again, more Amazon goodies, you guys, sorry. But love this. This piece stays in the house, and that little piece stays out here to read the temp. But I keep this just basically on my desk. See if I can get no glare. And it will show you, like right now, it is reading, this is the current temp inside here, and that is way warmer than it is outside. And then down below, you have a high and low button. So the low, if you push low, it'll show you what the coldest temp was in the last 24 hours, 37. So it's still pretty cold out here, but the door has been open. So, and there is your humidity there, second line down. And then you've got date and time and like the phases of the moon. Anyway, I love it. And just replace a battery now and then, it works great. So we've got our labels. We've got one of these. I always have one of these in my pocket because you never know what you're going to need it for. I need to open potting soil up. This is it's Jiffy Mix. I mean, I don't get fancy with what. It's organic. I don't get too excited about brands of potting soil, although I know there's been a lot of videos where you can see what's the best potting soil. I just buy whatever's cheapest. And I've got my visitor / helper in here with me, so he's gonna this is where he likes to just burrow into the straw when it is super cold and windy outside right now, so he's in. Okay, so all I'm gonna be planting today is cauliflower, possibly Brussels sprouts, although we'll talk about those later, cabbage and broccoli. Cauliflower and broccoli, I have had good luck with broccoli, not so good luck with cauliflower, and terrible luck with Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts for us in this zone have been just an absolute aphid trap. So I guess that's good, because if you want to keep the aphids off your other plants, plant some Brussels sprouts. I have planted Brussels sprouts multiple years in the last 23 years in this garden. I have never eaten a single Brussels sprout off of our garden. So live and learn, guys. I mean, it's not always perfect. It varies every year, and we're going to talk about that in the next video about how much to plant. You're going to be surprised at the variations. So I am going to probably give a whack at Brussels sprouts again, but I just never have much hope for them. I love our broccoli. It's always generally really, really clean, because if there's one thing that's a huge turnoff about broccoli, it's popping one open and finding green caterpillars that are the same color as the broccoli. And cauliflower, again, fairly bad luck with developing a decent head of cauliflower. I don't know if I plant them too late. Again, we never had a greenhouse, and I don't tend to start things outside super early. Probably my fault. I think the earliest I've planted things outside in the garden here is early May, possibly late April. I tend to plant things probably too late for cold season, and that's probably why I don't get enough cauliflower. So we're going to fix that this year because we have a greenhouse. Since I'm starting seeds, I want a solid bottom, so I'm going to use these. And I'm going to start them in these bigger, these are what, 3-inch pots, 1 1/4 pint, whatever that is. They're, that you just get them from any garden center. And I do like these trays because they hold 3, they hold kind of an even quantity like that. And I just go off of what I have room for, which we have a lot of room in this garden, so I don't need to scrimp on my space or my quantities of plants. We have about 5,000 square feet of vegetable area. And I know not everybody has that much space. So if you're working with smaller space, you're going to have to do a couple of things. Maximize your space and base it on what's important to you to harvest out of your garden. You may not have time, space, or need to try Brussels sprouts. You may not care at all about cabbage. Like if you don't like sauerkraut, don't just plant like 1 cabbage and eat it fresh, or a couple of them. Or if you like to make kimchi or something, but you don't need to plant rows of these things unless you're going to eat them. And try to be realistic about what your family is going to eat, because I've done that over the years where I've planted like, ooh, okra. Like, my husband likes okra. I hate it. I don't like peppers. He does. So kind of navigate that, and don't overplant things that you're probably not going to need, even, just because they're pretty or they seem like something that should go in a garden. Don't overdo it. So as you go along, if you garden for more than a few years, take notes, take notes, take notes, take notes. Take so many notes, because each year that will help you get better at how much to plant, what not to plant, what you can do without entirely, and what you wish you had done differently. So these hold apparently 15. I mean, it doesn't matter because you won't have these trays, but I've got 15 in each. So we're going to do three different kinds of plants: broccoli, cauliflower. Well, we'll give Brussels sprouts a whirl, and you guys can watch this year and see what happens. I'll show you how much of an aphid trap they can be. maybe we'll harvest some. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? I love Brussels sprouts. But if there's even like one aphid on a Brussels sprout, I can't. And these, usually mine are so covered in aphids, you can't see the plant. I mean, it just looks like an aphid plant. It's so gross. Depressing. And I'm like, I don't use any sprays on my plants. I'm sure there's something you could spray them with, like a copper spray or some kind of something natural. I don't. So we don't get Brussels sprouts. Maybe I'll look into that. Someone chime in below and tell me what you spray on your Brussels sprouts to keep the aphids off of them. For now, I just like that they pull the aphids away from everything else, even the roses. Okay, I'm gonna get some soil in these pots, do a little bit of math. I need to see how many of these things we want to plant based on how many I've planted in the past, and we'll go from there. But usually about a dozen. We'll usually do about a dozen cauliflower, possibly a dozen broccoli, and Brussels sprouts are just eh. And also, don't be afraid to mix and match your pots. Use what you have. There's so many creative things. I've seen people use toilet paper rolls and newspaper. These, poke a hole in the bottom of a solo cup. Even styrofoam, I've seen people use those. And I know plastic is like, not ideal, but you know what? It's not making us sick that I know of. I mean, I'm kind of sticking with, I want to do all the orange ones, so I'm being funny about that. Otherwise, I wouldn't care what color they are, but fit them in there. And we've got 30, so we'll see how many I want to plant of each variety here and get going. So my trick here, I've just sprinkled cauliflower seeds on top of all this soil. What I do is take the spray bottle, set it on fairly misty setting, and I'll just kind of give them a little bit of a soak from the top. And what I'm going to be doing is adding water to the bottom of this tray to soak this soil up from the bottom. So I've gotten them all wet with the mist from the spray bottle. And the reason I use a spray bottle is because I don't want to put a stream of water on these and, you know, float the seeds away from kind of where they started. All I do after that is take a handful of the soil and I'll just go back and basically cover them with that 1/2 inch of soil. If they need a 1/2 inch, just put, cover them a little. And I find this to be, I don't know, it's my little cheat way of doing it, I guess, but just top them up. And then you can just give them a little press. So the seeds are wet and they're covered with some soil, and you just continue with the rest of the pots, like that. And then I'll mist over the top of all of that as well, just to kind of dampen that little top layer of soil we just added. So I have got a tray of broccoli, 2 kinds of broccoli. We're gonna go ahead and put the labels in these so I know what I have. We've got 6 of one variety and 9 of another. And then I've got a whole tray of cauliflower, so we've got 15 of those. This thing is a little long, but there it is. And then over here, my sideshow of Brussels sprouts, we did 9 of those. And I'm only doing 5 cabbage this year because we have quite a bit of cabbage still left as far as sauerkraut. Once I have them all labeled, I have these old dirty gallon jugs from last year that we just fill with fresh water, and I fill these pretty full this first round because I want these pots to soak this dirt up into the soil that we've just added. So I'm going to add quite a bit of water and just let it soak up over the next 24 hours or so. So there's that one. And then you can just add water right like that and you can watch the level. And I want it to come up probably about that much, maybe 1/2 inch in there. And then we'll just set that one back in. And then the last thing I do before I tuck these in for the night is this. Take your Glad clear cling seal, and I just make a little sort of a redneck greenhouse for each individual tray. And you got to work around your labels a little bit, so just put a little blanket of clear plastic right over that. And there's no wind in here because I'm in a greenhouse, so I don't need to worry about this necessarily getting blown around, but I will kind of wrap it down a little. And this one, since we have a label there, I'm going to just pull that out while I cover this, and then I'll poke a hole to stick that label back in there. Same thing. Make your little blanket, and I may do just poke a hole here too. So wrap it down over and then just hold it tight, and you should be able to poke. Give it a quick poke and just go down through. And like this, if you hold that tight back there and just give it a quick poke, and then you have your marker. And when they're all covered, they look like that. And that'll help keep some of that initial humidity in under that plastic while these germinate in the cold weather out here. And I will continue to watch my thermometer. This will be in the house with me. Right now it's 56 degrees in here, so I'm going to keep an eye on the temp. The overnight temp is what I'm more concerned about, and that's all there is to it. There you have it. That's what I do in the greenhouse. I'm not an expert at greenhouse stuff at all, but I hope this helped you. Grab some seeds, grab a notebook, get out in your greenhouse if you have one, get some stuff started. And If you want to know how to figure out how much to plant, because oh my goodness, how much do we plant is such a big question. I'm going to be talking about that in the next video, which you can see right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.